The redesigned BMW X3 checks all the boxes for anyone shopping a small luxury SUV, but if you can compromise a little on ride and handling, the new X1 from BMW does most of that for a lot less money. Now, whether you want the X3 is really going to depend on how much the driving experience matters. Styling is similar inside and out, but the X3 is a bit bigger, about 3 inches wider and taller, about 10 inches longer bumper to bumper. You would think that would make for a much bigger cabin, but actually it's not palpably roomier inside here versus the X1, which has actually quite a bit of room for how small it is on the outside. Maybe a little bit bigger seats here in the X3, but just not a ton of extra room. The back seat might actually be a little bit worse here. No sliding function, which is an option in the X1, and the seat sits low to the floor, which might leave adults' knees uncomfortably elevated. Cargo room between the two, roughly the same, very similar numbers there. And cabin materials, you know, soft touch stuff, low gloss stuff. That's where you might think the X3 is a lot better than the X1, but actually the X1 is pretty much right up there with luxury car snuff. X3 is a little nicer in certain areas down below knee and arm level, but not a huge difference. Now, where the X3 distinguishes itself is with ride and handling. A 50-50 weight distribution makes for very good dynamics if you throw it around. That's an area where the X1, which is based on a front drive platform, kind of falls apart, feels very nose heavy. Our X3 test car here as well combines that with very plush ride quality, a comfortable car versus the X1, which feels a little bit choppy, especially at low speeds. The question is, how many SUV owners are really going to demand all of that out of their vehicle? Both cars, X1 and X3, have similar passing power from punchy turbo 4-cylinder engines. You'd really have to step up to the X3's M40i 6-cylinder variant to get a higher threshold. That said, I suspect most shoppers are looking at the turbo 4-cylinder in the X3 xDrive 30i, which starts around $43,500 with destination and all-wheel drive. Now, that's a competitive price with other compact luxury models. Those are some compelling rivals, but their entry-level subcompact siblings are in many ways a class of compromises. Not so much for the X1, which is quite a good choice. And again, that's probably the biggest case against the redesigned X3, which starts thousands of dollars more and doesn't really have enough extra standard features to justify it. It certainly rides and handles better, but whether that's enough to give reason for the higher monthly car payments, well, that's up to you.